I told him as I bit into the Pocky. In a little over a week, my parents and I were finally going on our first Christmas vacation ever to China. I was so eager to see all my cousins and aunts and uncles again, I could hardly sit still at the front desk. Every day, I put a big X on the calendar, counting down. The excitement and nerves jingled inside me. Would my cousin Shen still recognize me when I stepped off the plane? Would I recognize him? I can't believe the teachers are letting you take a whole extra month off school, Jason said. Because the plane tickets were so expensive and it'd been forever since we took a vacation, my parents wanted to go for a full 6 weeks. So far, all my teachers had said that was okay. As long as I do my homework, they're cool with it. And the motel? Lupe's parents are covering for us. Jason's eyes dropped to his pocky. Well, I'm going to miss you. I smiled. I knew Jason liked sitting next to me, especially in math, where he didn't always get what the teacher was talking about. I'll be back soon, and I'll bring you lots of numbing peppers and special spices. His face brightened. And we're still on for the movies next Saturday before you go? Of course! As a Christmas treat, Jason, Lupe, and I were going to a movie and then dinner. Now that the economy was doing better, Jason's dad's business were flourishing, and Jason got his allowance back. And Lupe and I had our front desk money. Jason had the restaurant all picked out, a new place called Jade Zen. It was right next to the kanji place where my parents and I like to go on Sundays. And we were going to see Toy Story. I was so excited, I nearly blurted out that it'd be my first time watching a movie. But I stopped myself just in time. There were some things I still didn't want to tell Jason, even if I would have told Lupe in a heartbeat. It's going to be amazing, Jason beamed. The bell rang for third period, and we got up. Later in English class, Bethany Bread sat next to me, loudly chewing on her gum, while Mrs. Swan, our teacher, handed back our essays. Dashawn, this is so good, Mrs. Swan gushed. Dashawn Wallace had moved to Anaheim from New York a couple of weeks before. An African American boy with braces and a Batman pencil case. He was the only one I knew who read more than me and Lupe. He even read sometimes under his desk when Miss Swan wasn't looking. The way you describe being lost at sea, I can feel every wave crashing, every drop of rain. Psst, Jason whispered. I bet yours is better. I gazed over at Dashawn's paper, curious to see what an A-plus paper looked like, but he quickly put it away. Miss Swan had given me 2 A's so far this year. She had a bulletin board up by the front of the classroom where each month she recognized the most creative writer, most funny writer, and most moving writer. I hadn't made the most list yet, but I was hopeful that I was close. As she handed back my essay, I saw another A. All right, class, please put your stories away. It's time for our whole grade photo. Everyone head to the gym, Miss Swan said. I looked at Jason. That's today? I completely forgotten. I put my papers in my backpack and got in the single file line to go to the gym. Jason took out a comb from his back pocket to straighten his hair. How do I look? Great. As we walked inside the gym, I looked round for Lupe. We had to stand together. I found her in the front row. Hey, I said, getting in the front row next to her. Did you know that this was today? Lupe asked. No, I forgot, I said. I looked down at my jeans and a t-shirt of a pickle that said, I'm kind of a big deal. Had I known our group picture was today, I would have picked another shirt. I gazed over at Bethany Bread, rearranging her 5 necklaces in front of her sweater. So that's why she was wearing them. Jason squeezed in the row in front of next to us. Well, you look totally awesome, he assured me. Thanks, I smiled. We look awesome. The photographer, a white guy named Kyle, who had a big button on his shirt that said "Smile with Teeth," walked over to us. You guys need to move to the back row, he told me, Jason, and Lupe. We looked at him, confused. The people in the back row were a full head taller than us. Maybe Jason would fit in, but Lupe and I would be completely hidden. Can we just stay here? I asked. Please? I really wanted my parents to buy the picture this year. Every year, when we got the flyer to buy school photos, my mom always said they were too expensive. She cut out the free small sample pic and stick it on the refrigerator instead. Maybe if they saw me in the front row this year, they'd actually buy it. I'm afraid not, Kyle, the photographer said. I looked around at all the other kids in the front row. The other kids were mostly white. Some were even taller than me and Lupe, but he wasn't telling them to move. I'm trying to achieve a certain look here, Kyle explained in frustration. I furrowed my eyebrows. What was that supposed to mean? Lupe tugged on my arm and said quietly, It's fine. Reluctantly, I followed her and Jason to the back row, frowning as Dillian Fischer blocked my whole face with his big neck. It just felt so unfair. After all the stuff we'd achieved, Lupe was practically taking high school math, and I was a straight A student. I felt like we earned the right to be in front and center, but the photographer was still trying to hide us. As Kyle, the photographer, told us to smile, I murmured to Lupe, This stinks. I know, she said. Nah, it's okay, Jason said. I don't want to be front and center anyway. But that's not the point, I turned to him. We're not allowed to be. There's a difference. And why? Jason asked. Just because we weren't blonde and blue-eyed and didn't wear a million necklaces like Bethany? After English class was over, I went up to Miss Swan. How was the class picture? She asked. Not great. I didn't get to stand where I wanted, I muttered. Miss Swan looked at me sympathetically. This happens sometimes, she said. I remembered when I was a kid, I was always the shortest one. But don't worry, I'm sure you have a growth spurt soon. Yeah, I somehow doubted that would change things. So, what did you want to talk to me about? I started telling her about our Christmas trip to China. China! Miss Swan cried. That's amazing. I've always wanted to go to China. Oh, I'm so jealous you're going. I smiled. It was nice to know that not everyone in my school wanted me to hide my culture. Slowly, I explained how the tickets weren't so cheap and my parents really got a vacation, so I need to take an additional 4 weeks off school. Miss Wan put a finger to her chin. As long as you keep up with your English homework, that's okay with me. She glanced around her desk until her eyes landed on a blank notebook, which she handed to me. Fill this out with stories. I want you to write a journal entry on your experience twice a week. Take me to China and really blow me away. Will you do that? I promised her I would. As I took the notebook, I couldn't wait to show her around my hometown and make her see, taste, and feel everything. By the time I got back, I'll definitely earn my position on her most board